Welcome everyone to the Life of Jones, where the Jones generation walks bravely and without, maybe with some trepidation. We walk into the fog of uncertainty and explore that uncertainty in the second act of life. And here we are in our second act of life. Anybody that was born between 1954 and 1965 is part of the Jones generation. And I want to celebrate that with a story. Today, I'm going to tell a story about my son, Rowan. He's my second son. And first thing you need to know is that I swear. I swear like a sailor because I was a sailor. I swear like a stagehand because I was a stagehand. And I believe me, those two populations, those two strata of our populations swear a lot. And sometimes they swear because they're whiners, and sometimes they swear because they smack themselves with a hammer. It all depends. Sailors swear, stagehands swear a lot. I was both. I can swear with the best of them. And I knew that growing up that I wanted to protect my children from that. And what that was sort of that bitterness of life. I didn't want them to see the bitterness squeaking out of me in swear words, because it very well could have, and it did. And so I had to be different. I had to change. I wanted to be somebody different, somebody that I really wasn't in front of my kids. So I didn't swear. Oh well, I didn't swear much. I didn't swear like normal. And that went along pretty well for a long time. And what happened was that when Rowan was in high school, he I don't remember what we were doing. We were in the living room or somewhere. We were somewhere together, and all of a sudden it was like F-bomb after F-bomb comes out of my mouth. And I mean, something broke, or I broke something. Probably I broke something. And I just was like, motherfucker, blah 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 blah. And Rowan kind of looked at me and goes, "Dad, I didn't know you swore like that." And right then I thought, I did it. If he's just now, and by that time he was taller than I was. If he was just now hearing me swear like that, then I had succeeded in doing what I wanted to do. I had succeeded in keeping that to myself. A boundary, that's what that's called, believe it or not. I had that boundary, and I kept that boundary for the kids. And he couldn't believe it. And it came out. I mean, it was like I couldn't stop for some reason, because I swear like a sailor. And he heard it that day. And I've been, it's like ever since then, it's like, the cat's out of the bag, and there's nothing I can do to pretend that I don't do that. And I really had to ask myself, well, so which part is it? Because I still feel a little, like the adult in the room, me, is not supposed to swear in front of the children in the room, even if they're 30 years old. I'm not supposed to do that. That's just what adults do. And so I have a little bit of uncomfortable with this. And I also have a little bit of uncomfortable swearing. I have a little bit of uncomfortable swearing here, but I think that it gets the point across. Strategically used, swearing gets the point across like nothing else does. There is nothing else that gets it across like a good, if you know what I mean. And so I still retain a little bit of that doubt and a little bit of that uncertainty, that fog of uncertainty of, well, am I being, am I too callous? Am I too exposing? Or am I, what's the deal with my swearing? And is it okay or is it not okay? So, and that's okay with me. What I've come to believe here now at 69 years old is that I can have both. I can be uncomfortable with it and still do it, or I can not do it and be uncomfortable with that. I can have it both ways. I have the ability to keep that dichotomy in my head. And And I do. I mean, that's not unusual. Not unusual for me at all, I'll tell you what. So at the end of the day, it's like I swear, and I'm okay with that. And at the end of the day, my kids know that I swear, and then you know that I swear. And the precious part of it was that I was able to raise my 3 children in a way that I didn't show them a side of me that I just didn't want them to be like that. I didn't want them to grow up with that angst always coming out, which is what it is in a lot of cases. It's my angst coming out in verbal form. And I didn't want them to have that. I didn't want to, I didn't want to put that on them like that. So I didn't. And I changed. I changed for them, and it might be kind of fakey, I mean, that's part of what's going on in my head right now as I say this stuff. Is like, well, was I being, was I pretending? Was I a poser? And that's another topic I want to talk about, posing, because I think it's very interesting and funny, posing. So that's, I swear. And I use it sometimes strategically and sometimes unstrategically. And I'm not going to change that to try to make myself feel different or better or worse. And I'm not going to change it to try to make anybody else feel better or worse. Not too much. I mean, there it's like there might be a little bit of restraint that I try to apply on myself. I swear in front of my mother. Not as much as I swear in front of the kids, but I swear in front of my mother. So that, that's one of those foggy areas of uncertainty that I get to deal with here at 69 years old and being in the Jones generation. And I hope that you all enjoyed coming with me on that. And I'm not going to, I've been having a difficult time with writing these scripts. And part of that difficult time I've realized is that at the end of each video, I say, well, next week we're going to talk about blah, 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 blah. And that's been not making me feel very comfortable because it's like I have to do that. And it feels like it takes away some of the creative spontaneity that I prefer working in that level of spontaneity, like these cards. I don't read them, I write them, but I don't read them usually as I'm delivering because it's, I don't know if it's inauthentic or I feel stifled when I do that. So I felt stifled by saying that next week we're going to talk about blah, 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 blah. And I'm not going to do that anymore. So that's a little change that's happening. Another change that's going to happen here someday, and I don't know exactly when that someday is going to be. I will be moving my studio, my little messy studio. Not all this stuff. Well, this stuff will all be boxed up probably. I'll be moving upstairs. My youngest son and his wife are moving in here, and I'm really happy about that. So. I'm glad that the Jones generation is alive and well. There are 62.3 million of us in the United States, and we pretty much rock. See you next week.